example, Marilyn King, I'm not sure whether anyone knows Marilyn King, an Olympian, and there's a very interesting story about her. She is an athlete, but she was injured very severely, and it looked like she would never be able to run again, okay? Never, ever again. But then she was determined, and she wanted to make it, and eventually she went on and, win 2 Olympic medals, 2 gold medals. So her story is extraordinary, and she says, people often ask me, how do you do this? How is it possible for people like yourself to achieve such extraordinary results? And she says, oh, well, okay, yes, people often think it's this will and self-determination, but no. It's the power of the image. You imagine yourself achieving that goal, and that image gives you the power to do everything you can to make sure you reach that goal, you achieve that goal. So, when they asked her, okay, so this, training thing, it's very difficult, right? And so, yes, of course it is difficult. You have to get up every morning at 5 o'clock and, do your training. And every morning I would just picture this, okay, no, alarm clock, again, no. But I would just picture myself walking into that Olympic stadium, and I couldn't sleep. I had to get up and run. That's the power of the image for you. So what I'm suggesting is that if we can create images like this, the kinds of classrooms, the kinds of environments, what are the students doing? What are we doing? What kind of learning do we imagine? And when we picture this, that can give us power, that can give us that power that will help us to overcome all kinds of obstacles that will and are coming your way every single day. But if you keep your eyes fixed on that image will help you. Will not solve all the problems, yeah? But it is very important to know where you're going, to having that kind of picture. So again, one of the tasks that you have in your handouts can help you or colleagues you work with or friends or other teachers to start creating this kind of images. And there are all kinds of exercises and activities and visualization and imagery that we're suggesting in the book as well. But basically, to conclude, helping teachers to become inspirational practitioners really means helping them to dare to imagine. Including this on our teacher education courses, in our teacher development, informal teacher development groups, I think is a very important part. Because, the general assumption is that a will to act, your decision must precede imagination, that you decide to do something before you imagine what it is. The reality is that imagination comes first. It must. Until and unless we have the emotional and intellectual capacity to conceive of what does not yet exist, there's nothing toward which we are to direct our will and our resources. Imagination comes first. You can't desire anything unless you have tasted it. And it's not lemons we're talking about. Okay? To conclude, I'd like to conclude with a story, very short story. But before I do that, I would like to just make one comment before the story, okay? If I were in charge of the world, I would let David Crystal to be in charge of the world and quadruple teachers' salaries. On one condition, that he allows me to work hard on creating the conditions under which teachers can begin to dream and are allowed to live their dream in the classroom. Will you allow me that, David? Great. That's fantastic.